The human walked slowly through the glowing forest, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, mossy ground. He had been exploring alien worlds for years, and most planets had tested his endurance in ways humans were not meant to face. But this planet was different. Towering plants stretched higher than the eye could see, their stems shining in a soft blue light. Strange sounds echoed from everywhere: chirps, growls, and the occasional roar of something big moving in the distance. He had heard stories from other explorers about the creatures here, and none of them were friendly. Still, he kept moving, relying on his human strength and instinct to survive as he advanced. The forest floor shook with small movements. Something tiny darted between the luminous roots, faster than the eye could follow. He paused, sensing motion in his peripheral vision. From behind a thick fern, a small alien figure appeared. She was no taller than half a human, with sharp eyes the color of molten gold. Her skin had a faint green tint, and her body, while small, was wiry and muscular in her own way. She carried a tiny spear, barely longer than her arm. But the tension in her posture told him she was dangerous. The human raised his hand slightly, trying not to frighten her. "Easy there," he said softly, his voice calm. He had learned over the years that most intelligent creatures responded to confidence more than weapons. The alien huntress froze, her eyes narrowing. Then she stepped closer. You are human," she said, in broken common tongue, surprisingly understandable. "Strong. Much stronger than me." He nodded, noticing how her small form twitched with every movement, alert for danger. "I am. But what are you doing out here alone?" Her expression became desperate. I hunt. The big one. It threatens my village. I cannot stop it." "Not alone." Her voice wavered, and for the first time, the human saw fear in her sharp golden eyes. He followed her gaze and saw a shadow moving in the midst of a massive predator. Easily 3 times the height of a grown human. With scales that reflected the bioluminescent light, its claws dug into the soil, leaving deep marks. And its glowing eyes scanned the forest. Searching for prey, the human's heart rate increased slightly, but not with fear. He had faced bigger threats before. "You want me to help?" he asked, his tone cautious. She nodded quickly, her spear trembling. "Yes, lend me your strength. Only then I can survive." He hesitated. He had never been asked this before. Humans were strong, yes, but lending strength to another being? That was new. Still looking into her determined eyes, he felt a spark of trust. She was brave, even if she didn't have the raw power to match the predator. "I'll help," he said finally. "But we need a plan. If we rush in, we both die." The huntress's face lit up. "Yes, I will follow you." The human scanned the forest. The predator was moving slowly but deliberately, following some hidden trail. "We need to trap it, or at least distract it long enough for you to strike," he said. He noticed a cluster of massive roots forming a natural cage near a cliffside. "Here, we can use the terrain to our advantage." The huntress's eyes widened as she looked at the roots. "Too big for me. I cannot lift." He smiled faintly. "That's where I come in." The human began pulling rocks and fallen branches, creating a barrier to guide the predator toward the roots. The huntress watched, impressed, as he used a combination of strength, clever leverage, and timing to manipulate the environment. Even for a human, what he was doing required immense effort. She had never seen such raw power used with such precision. Finally, the trap was set. The predator approached, sniffing the air, its glowing eyes scanning for movement. The huntress gripped her spear tightly, her small body quivering with adrenaline. The human put a hand on her shoulder. "When it comes close, you strike. Remember, aim for the joints, slow it down. I'll guide you." Her eyes shone with a mixture of fear and hope. She nodded. I can do this." The predator lunged suddenly, faster than expected. The human shouted, pulling a branch to strike the beast off balance. It roared in anger and turned its attention to him. The huntress froze for a moment, overwhelmed by the sheer size and danger. Without thinking, the human stepped forward, placing a hand on her back. He concentrated, and the alien ritual he had been shown earlier glowed softly. A faint shimmer surrounded them both. The huntress gasped as she felt something change inside her muscles. Strength surged, not just in her arms and legs, but in every fiber of her being. The human's gift of energy flowed into her, connecting them in a way she had never experienced. Now, the human shouted. The huntress moved with astonishing power. She lifted the spear, aiming at the predator's knee. With a speed and strength she had never known, she struck. The predator staggered, letting out a deafening roar. She hit again, her small body moving with the precision of a trained hunter but the force of a human. The human guided her, shouting instructions as they worked together. He pulled branches, set traps, and distracted the predator whenever it lunged toward her. Each moment was tense, filled with the possibility of death. But the huntress adapted quickly to the human strength. Learning to balance her speed with the new power coursing through her, finally, after what seemed like hours, but was only minutes, the predator fell. It thudded to the ground with a deafening crash, and the huntress stumbled, exhausted. The energy link faded, leaving her panting but alive. She looked at the human with wide eyes, awe and gratitude shining in them. You saved me," she whispered, voice trembling. The human smiled, brushing dust from his clothes. "We saved each other. You fought bravely." She shook her head. "No, you gave me strength. Without you, I would be dead." He waved his hand. "You would have found a way. Humans are strong, yes, but courage, determination, that's what really counts." The huntress studied him as if trying to understand a being so different from her own. You are human. You're kind. You are strong, not just body, but heart too." He chuckled softly. "That's the first time anyone has ever said that to me in the middle of almost dying." The alien huntress laughed, a sound like chimes in the glowing forest. It was small, but full of life. I must thank you. I will tell my village. They will know a human can make the impossible possible." The human nodded, looking around at the strange glowing jungle. "This planet is dangerous, but there's more to discover. I've seen worse. Stay with your village, train with your new strength, and maybe one day we'll hunt together again." Her eyes sparkled with determination. "Yes, I will train. And I will never forget what you gave me." As the human prepared to leave, he glanced back at her. She stood taller than before, small, but no longer helpless. Even with human strength gone, her spirit was unbreakable. He smiled, knowing that humans were special, not just for their bodies, but for their ability to inspire courage in others, even tiny alien huntresses. The forest was quiet now. The danger gone, but a new bond had been formed. One that would be remembered long after he left this alien world. And as he walked away, he realized something he had never thought about before. Sometimes, humans were meant to be more than explorers. They were meant to be catalysts bringing strength, hope, and courage wherever they went. And on this distant, glowing planet, a tiny alien huntress would forever remember the day a human gave her something no one else could, like the strength to fight and survive. The sun had barely risen over the glowing forest when the tiny huntress woke. She stretched her small body, still feeling the echoes of the human strength that had coursed through her the day before. Her muscles were sore but alive with energy. She knew that today she would prove herself not just to the predator that had threatened her village, but to herself as well. The human had left early, promising to return if she needed him, but she didn't want to rely on him again. Not yet. She needed to show that the strength he had given her could become her own. As she moved through the trees, her spear held firmly in hand, she noticed how the forest seemed different. Each sound was sharper, each shadow clearer. Her body moved faster than she remembered, her reflexes almost superhuman. She smiled, remembering the human's words. Courage matters more than strength. The predator from yesterday's encounter had not moved far. It had retreated into a dense grove near a cliff, but it was still alive, still hungry, and still dangerous. The huntress crept carefully, her her small form blending with the luminous roots and vines. Every step was measured, every breath quiet. She was no longer just a hunter. She was a strategist. The human had shown her that strength alone wasn't enough timing. Observation and planning mattered just as much. She reached the grove and froze. The predator was there, lying low, its glowing eyes tracking every movement. It had clearly remembered her from yesterday. Its claws dug into the soil as it growled softly, a sound that made her heart pound but not with fear. With a deep breath, she tightened her grip on her spear and remembered how the human had guided her. She would combine her speed with his strength as best she could. A sudden sound behind her made her spin. A small rustle, a twig breaking underfoot. Her senses were alert, but it was only a tiny animal scurrying through the underbrush. She exhaled slowly, calming herself. "Focus," she whispered. "Focus and wait." The predator rose slowly, its massive body moving with terrifying grace. Its eyes locked on her. It was bigger than any creature she had faced before, and even with the strength the human had lent her, she knew she had to be smart. She ran, using her small size and agility to dart between trees. The predator followed, but its size made it slower, less nimble. She could see the opening she needed, a narrow gorge lined with sharp roots and stones. If she could lead it there, she could trap it as she had yesterday, but this time she would do it alone. The chase was intense. The forest seemed alive, the glowing plants casting eerie shadows. She ran, twisted, jumped, and ducked, always keeping the predator in sight. Her body was strong now, far stronger than it had ever been, but the predator's raw power was still a threat. She had to combine speed, strength, and cleverness to survive. Finally, she reached the gorge. It was the perfect trap. She darted to one side, hiding behind a large glowing root, and waited. The predator lunged forward, expecting an easy target. She jumped from her hiding spot, spear aimed at the creature's leg. The force of her strike, combined with her new strength, made the predator stumble. It roared in pain but turned, trying to strike her. She ran again, weaving between the roots, always keeping the predator off balance. Her body moved in ways she had never imagined, each step precise, each movement calculated. She could feel the memory of the human's strength in her muscles, guiding her, giving her confidence. Hours seemed to pass in the tense struggle. The predator was relentless, but the huntress's strategy worked. She led it through the gorge, into a narrow opening where it could barely move. Then she struck again, aiming for the joints, using every bit of strength and skill she had gained. The predator roared one last time before collapsing, defeated. Breathing heavily, the huntress looked at the fallen creature. She had done it alone, without the human. She had combined her alien agility with the strength he had shown her to defeat a monster that had terrified her people. Pride and exhilaration filled her small body. She had grown stronger, braver, more capable in ways she had never imagined. As she caught her breath, she heard a familiar voice calling from behind. "You did it." She turned to see the human, standing at the edge of the gorge, watching her with a proud smile. He had returned earlier than she expected. I did it," she said, almost in disbelief. "I used your strength. But I also used my own." He nodded. "Exactly. That's what I wanted you to understand. Strength is important, but it's nothing without courage, strategy, and determination. Humans are strong, yes, but we survive because we can think, adapt, and inspire others to do the same." She stepped closer, her golden eyes shining. You are right. I felt it. Your strength. It helped me, but it also showed me what I could become." He smiled faintly. "That's the point. Humans are not just about power. We're about potential. And today, you've proven that even a tiny alien huntress can reach it." For the first time, she laughed fully, a sound of pure joy and relief. "I will tell my village. They will know that humans are not just strong, they are incredible." He shook his head, still smiling. "Incredible isn't just about muscles. It's about courage. And you have more courage than most humans I've met." The huntress looked down, feeling a warmth in her chest. She had learned so much in just 2 days, Not just about fighting, but about trust, partnership, and the kind of strength that comes from within. The human had given her more than power, he had given her belief in herself. "You should rest," he said. "Your village will need you soon, and there will be more challenges ahead. But today, you've earned a moment of peace." She nodded and settled against a glowing root, still catching her breath. I will never forget you. You have changed me forever." The human glanced at the forest around them. The glowing plants, the towering trees, the strange creatures, all of it seemed less threatening now. Together, they had faced danger and survived. And he realized something important. Humans were capable of inspiring greatness, not just surviving it. "You've changed yourself more than I have changed you," he said quietly. "The strength I gave you, it was only a reminder of what you could do. You already had the courage to be great. Now, you just know it." Her small hand touched his arm briefly in thanks, a gesture of deep respect. Then she stood, fully alert, fully alive, ready to return to her village. "I will train. I will grow stronger. And I will never forget what humans are capable of." He nodded, knowing his time on this planet was ending soon. "Go back to your people. Teach them. Protect them. And remember, humans are not just here to explore or fight. We're here to inspire, and sometimes that makes all the difference." The huntress took a final look at him, her eyes glowing with determination. Then she ran off toward her village, moving faster and more confidently than ever. The predator was defeated, the forest quiet again. And the lesson clear: human strength was more than just physical IT, was courage, intelligence, and the ability to lift others beyond their limits. The human watched her disappear into the glowing forest, feeling a quiet pride. He had come to this strange, distant world alone, expecting challenges, danger, and maybe a few discoveries. What he had found instead was something far more valuable: the chance to remind another being that strength, in any form, was worth sharing, and that courage could be contagious. He turned to leave, his mind already planning the next world, the next adventure, the next challenge. But he knew this one small alien huntress would carry a piece of humanity with her forever. And in a galaxy full of unknown dangers and creatures, that was the most extraordinary thing of all. As he walked away, he could hear the distant cheers of her village celebrating their small hero. The huntress had done what no one expected, combining alien agility and human strength to defeat a beast that had seemed unstoppable. And he knew, deep down, that humans, his people, would continue to inspire, protect, and change the galaxy in ways no one could imagine. The forest shimmered under the twin suns, glowing softly as life continued. Somewhere, a tiny alien huntress trained, grew stronger, and remembered the human who had shown her that courage and determination were just as important as strength. And somewhere else, a human explorer walked onward, ready for the next world, carrying the quiet pride of a species capable of extraordinary things. And so, the story of courage, strength, and inspiration continued. A reminder that humans could always make a difference, no matter how small. No matter how distant the world, no matter how impossible the challenge.